You're listening to Factual America.
The film's titled Robin's Wish. I know the answer, but maybe you can tell us what Robin's wish was. And I think because that wish is what that wish is, I think your film is helping with that. But tell us what Robin's wish was or is.
Yeah. So for me, Robin's wish is twofold. One, I think his personal sort of like wish for himself is that he would have had a diagnosis. I think if there's any sort of an afterlife and he has any perspective of looking back, damn, I wish I could have known that like this thing wasn't my fault. Like that would have meant a lot. Yeah. And it also would have given him and his wife the ability to sort of like process this thing together. And they're both so resilient, right? They're both ex-addicts. They both come from this like very difficult past. You know, Robin really in a lot of ways surmounted his own depression and that was through daily exercise and really staying ahead of it and on top of it. Like this is a guy who could handle adversity. If you'd have told him this is what it was, I have every confidence that he would have said, okay, right? And that would have begun a process of healing as he was passing. The other thing that I think gets to the thing that we can all really latch onto is that Rob cared about the world, right? I think that's the reason he gave so much. He worked so hard and he used his genius for sort of a benefit to others, you know, because I think he could have been a wonderful CEO of a company, or he could have found another way to use his incredible intellect. But he wanted to give it to us. And so what's amazing is that when his wife was going through the process of this film and doing her interviews, it was very difficult for her. And there was a period where after one of the particularly difficult interviews, she went to his bedside table, which she hadn't gone into since he passed, as a sort of his private space. And she wanted to keep it for him, but she just needed something from him. She needed some message or some sort of thing that you can imagine a widow might be in a moment of needing. And she opened up his AA book. And on that first page, that's usually blank in every book, he'd written in big, bold, sort of like flourished cursive, I just want to help people be less afraid. And he dated it and signed it. And you kind of get this sense of like, that's what he was always doing, right? Because this thing that she found of him wanting to help everyone be less afraid, that was really his wish always, right? Like it's the reason that someone gets on stage and hopes to make us all laugh, right? There's a personal aspect of them hoping, maybe I'll entertain, maybe I'll get some sort of personal rush out of this, but it's a communal activity, right? He gives you something and then you laugh and let him know that he's doing the right thing. And then they continue. And that's kind of how comedy works. But, you know, he was a brilliant dramatic actor. He went to Juilliard. He has an Oscar for Good Will Hunting. So the idea that he could give us all a range of emotions that he could sort of mirror to us and that we could feel through him. So the idea that Robin's real wish in his life was to help us all be a little less afraid. My big hope for this film is that someone watches this, their heart opens back up to him as they understand what this guy really was, and that actually that sad clown point, that you realize that actually the guy behind all this work was better than the work, right? Like you can't make you can't fake it, right? You can't fake it for that long. You can't trick people for that long. Like Robin the man was better than Robin Williams the movie star. And so I think once people have that sense, I hope that when the credits are running, they fire up Mrs. Doubtfire or Hook or Aladdin or just one of those fun, lovely, beautiful Robin Williams films that's their favorite, and it has an experience of him coming back into their life. You know, for me, it's The Birdcage or things like that are just like incredible moments for me. That actually I'd sort of tamped down because I thought maybe there was some darkness associated. And so the idea that that's not true and we can all have that back, I think is a huge service to him. And it really brings into full focus his wish, which is that we all be a little less afraid. We all take bigger steps and we all sort of open ourselves up to the journey of life.